Who will be the world's future customers? This is information that businesses and companies must know to target their products and services. By the year 2030, the world population will increase from 7.6 billion to 8.5 billion, and then rise to over 9 billion people by 2040. China has the world's largest population and a growing middle class. By 2030, there will be 1.2 billion Chinese middle-class consumers, a number which is growing by 6% per year. In population size, India will surpass China with approximately 1.5 billion people by 2027. At that time, India's middle class will grow to 583 million people at a rate of 8.5% a year. One of the biggest needs for the Indian economy is adequate housing. The country lacks the apartment buildings that are common in other cities around the world. Therefore, building supplies, kitchens, and flooring will be needed for the growing middle class. Some important data to look at is the age of a country's consumers. Take a look at this chart. As you can see, China has 12% of its population over the age of 65, while India is only half of that at 6%. However, Chinese consumers may have a higher purchasing power parity, which means they have more money to spend than people in India. Also, Chinese middle-class spending power is projected to double over the next decade. This means we are likely to see a continuing increase of Chinese tourism and overseas spending on real estate and natural resources. Although the percentage of people over 65 years old in the United States is higher than China at 16%, the U.S. is a country that allows immigration. People from around the world choose to move to and live in the U.S., and these new immigrants pay taxes, which helps support the social system. In the year 2040, the U.S. should be able to maintain its place as one of the top consumer markets in the world. Japan, on the other hand, is an example of an elderly nation with 28% of the population over 65 years of age, and a very low level of immigration. Japanese companies will need to think globally to maintain GDP growth and reconsider its current immigration policy. Over the next 30 years, Indonesia's capital, Jakarta, is projected to become the world's largest megacity by 2030. Other emerging economies, such as Brazil and Mexico, will also see significant growth. Compared to developed economies, these countries have young populations. Therefore, a greater number of people will have the potential to become middle class. Two other countries worth mentioning are Nigeria and Vietnam. By 2050, Nigeria will see its population more than double, from 216 million people to 400 million people. This would put Nigeria close to the projected size of the United States population at 458 million. However, the economic risk for the Nigerian economy is that it's largely based on oil. Today, oil represents 90% of the country's exports. As the world moves away from fossil fuels, Nigeria must find a way to diversify its economy. In the case of Vietnam, steady population growth and an increase of its GDP combined with a relatively younger population means this country will have more purchasing power in the future.